Hello everybody, I'm Mark Lynch. I've been on the Communicate committee for about 4 years. I'm going to introduce Mike with a very quick story about the first time I met Mike about the same time ago, 4 years ago. And the Amphitheatre Harbour Festival, one of Bristol's flagship public engagement events, was broke and it wasn't working and the company was running it. So they put out a call, there's no money, no time, does anyone want to run the Amphitheatre Zone community engagement event? And Mike put his hand up and ran it successfully, and it's that model's been going ever since. So yeah, without any further ado, I think, with as much Mike's time as possible, hello to Mike, who's going to, I think, find natural storytelling talents that we didn't even know we had.
Thank you very much, Mark. That's very kind. So, yeah, I'm Mike Snyder and I run the Happy City Initiative, whose aim is basically to challenge the idea that money and stuff is the answer to everything. So we're basically asking people what matters, what really, really matters to you, and then getting them to talk about that and talk about how they act on it. So that's broadly what Happy City does, encouraging people to look around, see what's already working, see what they can join in with and build on, that kind of stuff. It's, the name Happy and City is relevant because happiness is the great way into the conversation, what really matters to you, and you haven't got a whole bunch of, well, you have got some prejudices about happiness, but you can talk your way through them and get to sort of the things that really, really count in our lives very easily. And City is really important because it's the scale which is human that works for us to connect us with little old me and the stuff that I can do with the great big picture and oh, holy cow, that's a bit scary. You know, I can actually do something about that if I know that I'm part of a concerted effort that's going on at a scale that I understand. I can walk around the city, I can go to places, I can talk to people. It's my space. So you kind of have enough of a connection with a big scale like that to feel empowered. So that's why Happy City does what it does. And I promised you, hello, welcome, that we would have fun and muck about a bit. So we're going to, and this is going to be hopefully at least semi-organised chaos. I'll take a bit of a risk, but I hope that we'll contain it within the time. The first game I would like to play with you involves all of us standing up in your seat. You might want to push your chair back a little bit. Give yourself as much space as you can. Step in just a little bit so we form a sort of circle. We're on the inside. You need to be probably on the inside of the pillars here. Now, I'm not included in the game. The rest of you all are. Our lovely camera lady isn't included either because she's busy cameraing, if that's the right word. So, what I'd like you all to do is I would like you, without saying anything or indicating anything to anybody else in the room, pick two people, just quietly. Okay, right, so right. Lovely striking Michelle, and I've got Julie here, okay. But I haven't said anything, okay, so I've just done it in my head. And the game is to stand equidistant between the two people you've chosen. It's sometimes called, this is quite fun. It's sometimes called Triangles game. And has anybody played this game before? Yeah, you have, okay, so right. So you know what's in store. So the idea is that as long as I'm dissecting you in an equal kind of way, I'm still equidistant between you. I could be over here, I could be over there, I could be behind the pillar, and that's still fine. The idea is that you play this game without talking, and you can laugh if you like, but don't communicate with each other. And have you all picked someone? Fabulous. Let's go and see what happens. I promise you it finishes in here.
Sometimes it's heads up and then
You can get too much.
I'm definitely not. But it's very talented. All of us. Is everybody happy? Fabulous. Okay, there we are. So it all stopped. Now, what did we notice about that? We were close together. We were close together. Yeah.
There's domino effects because one person moves and
Yeah.
every person moves.
Yeah, look at that. Okay, that's great. So, yes, and I want you to think in terms of communication and messaging about this domino effect, okay? Because what we're actually doing here is we're replicating a little bit of nature, so the naturally appealing bit. This is how nature works. We're all interconnected in systems now. Because Mark is standing right in the middle, I'm going to grab him. Nobody else move. Mark, I'm going to move you this way, please. You shift over here a little bit and go around that here. Now, I'm going to ask you, Mark, to stay rooted to the spot. Does anybody, the same rules apply, if anybody needs to move because he's moved, let's see you go. Who needs to move? Go. And then the same rules apply. So anybody, all of you move if you need to move. Anybody who does. There's a little ripple there, so 3 people fractionally. Okay, let's try again. I'm going to take, this time, I'm going to take Katie. And Katie, I'm going to shift you, if you wouldn't mind, over here. And that's it, you stand here. Now, same thing for you, Mark, you can move again if you need to this time. Katie's reached the spot. Anybody need to move? Off you go.
That's quite flattering.
It's interesting. So there's some very small ripple effects going on here. I'm going to try this one more time because what you're seeing is that obviously this is something to do with how connected you are in the system. You can be very, very connected as a sort of critical person that loads of people are connected to, or you can be less connected. I'm going to try and move you, Jessica, over here if you wouldn't mind. It's just about there. Right, does anybody need to move again now? Now what's happening? Fantastic. Okay, so how many of you didn't move when I moved Jessica? All of you moved. So the whole system shifted when I moved one person. How many of you are connected to Jessica? 2 people. Okay, so you can sort of grab your chairs and sit back around. I kind of made the point. So one of the things is when we're communicating, we're really aware of what's in front of us and what we're saying, what it means, and how people influence us. I know how it makes me feel if you do something which either upsets me or maybe makes me really, really happy. Either way, I'm very aware of it. But I've got no idea at all, really, what sort of effect I'm having in the world behind me. And as you've seen by that exercise, it can be a small effect. It may be no effect. Chances are, more often than not, because of the way things are really connected, you're having a very big effect, a much, much bigger effect than you realise. And this, there are sort of there's whole degrees of separation. I think so if you're in a good mood and you do something kind or nice and that kind of thing, that has been studies which have shown how far that spreads through the system. So as you're communicating the things that you care about and you're passionate about, the point is that you will be influencing far more than you think you will. You won't be able to track it either necessarily, but just know that that's true. So that's something about natural communicating on the ripple power of systems. So the second exercise, I think we've managed to do that in less time than I intended, which is great because it gives you a bit more time now to get out and about. Now, Mark's got a set of questions and I've got a set of questions here. And how many of us are there? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, which would be 8 pairs. So, can we have 8 sets of 2 people? And we'll give you a question. So, if I can pay you 2 to go like that. Pay you 2 like that. And Mark's going to go in the other way. And what I'm going to invite you to do is you've got about maybe 10 minutes, a little bit longer, to wander around. You can go. It took me, just ambling along, not going too quickly, it took me 2 minutes to get down to the front door of the Arnolfini. You can wander around in the building if you like. You've got a question to think about together. Or you can go out into the dockside there. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to come back. Definitely, let's say definitely within 10 minutes, because I would like to talk. So you'll have about just over 5 minutes outside of wandering around. And then we'll have a talk about what you've noticed. So if you'd like to...
This venture, Happy
city? Is it growing? Because that, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
would be a good thing to grow.
Yeah, so there's a book just come out called If Mayors Rule the World, that basically, you know, that after Kyoto collapsed, what happened was a bunch of mayors said, we're going to do some stuff, because mayors have to be practical, they have to fix things in a way that nation states kind of don't, in a way. And also nation states are all about self-interest rather than connected interest. Cities don't particularly compete with each other, they just want to get stuff done. So there's a really interesting, that's just coming up. And there's Bloomberg's given $1 million to Santa Monica to look at alternative measures of prosperity, and we're working here with the Office of National Statistics, the New Economics Foundation, a whole bunch of other people to come up with this index. Really, really importantly, back to the both and point, it's not just a measure, it's not just a thing that you come and do periodically, it's vital that it's a pulse reading, it involves us, so it's not disconnected from our day-to-day living. You know, and I think our primary economic measures at the moment are completely and utterly disconnected from our day-to-day lives, and that's not good. Yes?
You mentioned earlier the technique of repeating your message. So, would you encourage people to do that within say, if you write an article and you have a message, would you repeat it often? Is that one way of getting the message across?
It definitely works. You know, some people do it very deliberately and very clearly. It's like, kind of, say what you're going to say it in the middle and never, tell them what you told them, kind of thing. That's a mantra. It definitely can work. I don't think there is a one particular. It depends a little bit on your audience, and on your purpose in writing something, what it is that you really want them to get. I think consistency is quite good. So if you start looking into the way the brands work, they attempt to. They want you to get to know what the brand means. So they might do lots of different things, but there's consistency to the kind of style and the way that things are put, which allows you to sort of in your own mind make the associations and join the work.
Just a question about the language that you use in your own initiative. Do you phrase it as a positive question, like linking back to the exercise we did earlier? If you're talking about happiness of people, do you frame it in a certain way, or?
Yes, what increases happiness in your place. So there's the built-in assumption is something's increasing happiness, like. So it's there, planted, and then the conversation will be, well, yeah, okay, so things increase happiness, what are they? I'll think about those.
So you consciously choose not to ask them what decreases your happiness then, or?
What decreases happiness? Yeah, absolutely. An effective way of improving things is to focus on the bits that work. So yes, definitely. It's the easiest thing in the world to be a cynic and to identify problems. You don't need, it's not clever to spot what's wrong. It just isn't. It's so easy. We're all brilliant at it, and there's so many people doing it. I'd rather get on and do stuff. I'd rather, give me an optimist any day to get some stuff done over a cynic. Any day of the week.
So how does that fit with, like, if you're working with the community and sort of addressing some of their problems or their issues,
Yeah.
what kind of get you in and maybe what then lead to other things that are very positive, and it can be, it can be part of a positive process.
Yeah. So one of the things to do is to look for examples of what's working, either already there in the system, because the idea of appreciative growth is that in anything there will be something, however small, there will be something that's working. And if you can't, if that's a desperate struggle, then cast out a bit wider and find out an example of something that's like, which you can draw on.
Yeah, so you wouldn't go in and say, what issues do you have or what problems do you have?
No, because if you think about the issues, the great big issues of climate change, what's the green movement, if you like, done for years, decades? We've been pointing out how terrible it is, and you then have flight, fright, or freeze. It's fight, flight, or freeze. Those are the three. But I think the fourth response is embrace it. It's back to Edson, throw in a bit of love. Go, right, okay, because actually we are in it. We can't escape it. We're absolutely in it. There's no choice about it. We simply have to make our best efforts. And what's the point of being gloomy about what's not working? I hope that's been useful and helpful, and I hope it was approximately what I said I'd talk about in the programme. Is that, are we about?
We're absolutely, I think we've got about 45 seconds. Yeah, so we'll call that.
Well, thank you all very, very much indeed for coming. And there's a few little bits on the top there, and I'm happy to talk to anybody at any time. Obviously.
Thank you.